Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays for this Week 3 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And like I always do here in these videos, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet, breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays here for this Week 3 NFL DraftKings main slate. But as always, everyone, before we dive into that, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Completely free to do. Every like, comment, and sub that you guys leave here on this channel truly does help me out, and again, I really do appreciate it. I also want to mention I do run a free Discord channel as well. You can see that mentioned above. I'll link that in the description below as well as in a pinned comment below if you want to join it. We have over 850 people in there as of today talking multiple different sports for DFS and sports betting, primarily the MLB, NFL, and NHL, which is on the horizon just a few weeks out before we get into that. So again, if you want to join it, completely free to do. Link in the description below as well as in the pinned comment below. With that being said, let's dive into the cheat sheet here. We're going to kick it off at the quarterback position, and I'm looking to spend down at the quarterback position for my cash lineup this week, below $6,000. There's quite a bit of value here for week 3. First, we got Caleb Williams at home going up against a bad Cowboys defense, one that allowed Russell Wilson to just decimate them in week 2. And this game has the highest implied total as well between the Bears and Cowboys, so there's definitely shootout potential there. You know, we're going to see a lot of highs and lows this year with the Bears offense, new offensive coordinator with Ben Johnson, but the upside is definitely there considering the price, and Caleb Williams has shown some sneaky rushing upside through 2 weeks as well, and I really do like that. Speaking of sneaky rushing upside, Drake May offers that as well for the Patriots. Love this price at $5,300, going up against a Steelers defense that has not been impressive through 2 weeks, and then Carson Wentz here at the bare minimum $4,000. No JJ McCarthy for the Minnesota Vikings. Sounds like he's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle injury. Now, we haven't seen Wentz play some football in quite some time, but this is a perfect scheme for him playing with Kevin O'Connell. He's obviously got some good weapons with Justin Jefferson. You got TJ Hawkinson as well. And again, he's just the bare minimum $4,000. I've always preached I shoot for 3x value in my cash lineup, trying to get to 150 DraftKings points. If you do that week in and week out, you're going to find yourself in the money more times than not. That's only 12 DraftKings points that we need out of Carson Wentz in a good game environment at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the issue becomes, do we play both Wentz and Mason in the same cash lineup? Because Mason's pretty much a lock for me at $5,400. No Aaron Jones here for the next 4 weeks. He was put on the IR. So that's really the question I'll be asking myself here over the weekend, but I absolutely think we need to be talking about Wentz, again, considering the game environment here and the price of $4,000. Now, going back to this game here between the Dallas Cowboys and Chicago Bears, I mentioned it with Caleb. This game has the highest implied total on the main slate this week, and that Chicago Bears defense has not been great either through 2 weeks, so I think Dak Prescott is going to be in play as well, under $6,000. He's offering some value too. And then the last thing I want to mention here is if Jaden Daniels does not play here this week, he's not practicing as of Friday, then we'll get Marcus Mariota to start for the Commanders this week, and he'll also be the bare minimum $4,000 for the quarterback position, and I think he'll be in play as well. Now, moving on to the running backs here, and when it comes to cash game running backs this week, it's pretty straightforward to me. I think we can get unique with our tournament lineups, and for those of you who didn't know, I do post my favorite tournament plays video immediately following this cash plays video as well. So if you haven't been tuning into that, make sure you stick around. It's another, 10-11 minute video here breaking down my favorite tournament plays for the week. But again, when it comes to the cash game running backs this week, I think it's very straightforward. We got Christian McCaffrey here for the 49ers in a good spot against Arizona. Seeing a 20% plus target share on the 49ers offense right now. So you're basically getting a wide receiver too, who runs the ball 15 plus times a game as well. I don't want to say he's an official lock for me, but pretty close to it. Bijan Robinson will be a lock for me. Fantastic spot here this week against the Carolina Panthers, one of the worst teams and one of the worst defenses in the NFL. He should be able to decimate them, plus we get the pass catching upside with him, just like we do Christian McCaffrey. And then Jordan Mason, I just talked about it when going through Carson Wentz. No Aaron Jones for the next 4 weeks. He was put on the IR. That means he will be the bell cow back for Minnesota. The one cause for concern is, sure, Carson Wentz is starting, but at $5,400 in a good matchup against Cincinnati, like I said, he's pretty much a lock for me, and as a matter of fact, he is a lock for me in my cash lineup. Now, Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving sitting in the low $7K range. I absolutely think they're in play as well. Me, myself, I prefer to get to Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, spend down at other positions. But if you're like, hey, maybe I want to spend up for, let's say, a CeeDee Lamb or a Puka Nacua, and you need to save a little bit of money here off of Christian McCaffrey or Bijan, I do think Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving are sitting in good spots as well. And two other guys who get basically bell cow work at the running back position. And then we got the wide receivers here, everyone. But before we dive into this, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Again, it's completely free to do, and every interaction you guys have with me on these videos truly does help me out. Now, I think there's a lot of value here at the wide receiver position this week, which is one of the reasons I love spending up for CMC and Bijan Robinson in my cash lineup. But if you want to get off, let's say, one of CMC or Bijan and spend up for a wide receiver, this week I think it's CeeDee Lamb or Puka Nacua. CeeDee sitting in a really good spot here against Chicago. They're missing Jalen Johnson. It sounds like he's still battling a groin injury, will not play here in week 3. This is a guy who should see double-digit targets in this game, could definitely go over 100 receiving yards, get you that 3-point DraftKings bonus, and he's going to find the end zone sooner than later as well. Puka Nacua has just been dominant through 2 games. Another guy who's pretty much locked into double-digit targets week in and week out. Now, like I said, I prefer to spend up at the running back position with CMC and Bijan as I record this on Friday, but I do think both CeeDee and Puka need to be in the cash game conversation. But like I said, I think there's a lot of value here at the wide receiver position this week as well. First being with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Really good spot at home here against the New Orleans Saints. He saw 9 targets last week. I'm just going to call it double-digit targets, but basically double-digit through 2 weeks. Clearly the number 1 wide receiver and pass catcher in this offense for the Seahawks with new quarterback in Sam Darnold. But again, I really just like this spot here at home considering the price. I think he should be locked into another 8+ targets and could have himself a really good game. Jacoby Myers going on the road here against the Commanders. He's the wide receiver 1 in this offense as well. I know he wanted to be traded from the Raiders this offseason, but seems to be still getting a lot of volume thrown his way, and I like that considering the price. Rome Odunze will likely be the most popular wide receiver on this slate, especially when it comes to cash game lineups. He's been really good through 2 weeks. Looks like the number 1 pass catcher in the Chicago offense, and again, offering a really good price here at $5,300 in a good matchup against Dallas. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the Giants offense beat up on this Cowboys defense just last week. And then Keenan Allen is kind of getting the Monday Night Football treatment, or at least the pricing treatment from Monday night. He should be priced in the mid 5K range, maybe closer to the 6K range, but we're getting that Monday Night Football discount sitting at $4,700. I really do like him at that price, and I think outside of Rome Odunze, he might be the most popular value wide receiver this week. Now, when it comes to the tight ends this week, I think you will see a few people spend up for Trey McBride at $5,700, but myself, I don't prefer to go that route. I would spend a little more money than I usually do. I'm usually in the 3K range when it comes to my cash lineup, but Tyler Warren at $4,400 is really intriguing. 70+ receiving yards in each of his first 2 games as a rookie tight end. As a matter of fact, he's the first rookie tight end ever to go for 70+ receiving yards in his first 2 games. Looks like a safety valve for Daniel Jones, sitting in a good spot here against the Titans. So he's my preferred tight end play, but if I need to save a little bit of money, I do like Juwan Johnson here. He looks like a safety valve for Spencer Rattler as well, and I don't necessarily love the matchup on the road here against Seattle, but it's a game they're likely playing from behind probably most of the game, where the New Orleans Saints are going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. And Juwan Johnson, again, been a safety valve for Spencer Rattler. Like him at that price of $3,900. Jake Ferguson at $4,000. If you can find an extra $100 off of Juwan Johnson, I do like this spot against Chicago. And then we got Fannin Jr. there of the Cleveland Browns, still sitting in the mid 3K range. Seems like he's got a solid role here in this Cleveland Browns offense, albeit a tougher matchup against the Green Bay Packers, which is why he's an honorable mention. And then wrapping it up here with the defenses, if you have the money to spend up this week for Seattle, I do like them at home going up against Spencer Rattler and the New Orleans Saints. This defensive unit's been really good through 2 weeks so far this year, and again, back at home, I always like that a little bit more. Now, the Patriots, when I was building this spreadsheet here on Thursday night / Friday morning, or this morning, obviously, I thought the Patriots' projected ownership would be a little bit higher. That was not the case. Maybe I'm overlooking something here with the Steelers' offense, but I really just don't find them a threat. And again, the Patriots are at home, so I like that considering the price. If you need to save even a little bit more money off of them, I think the Bengals are fine here at $2,400. Kind of a punt play, if you will, going on the road against Minnesota, which usually I wouldn't love. But again, Carson Wentz starting here this week, really don't know what to expect there. So again, as a punt play, I think the Bengals are fine. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks, and let's win some money on this Week 3 NFL main slate.